Rain slashed through the night like angry tears. Seoul's alleys were empty, except for one shadow running fast. Footsteps splashed. A gun clicked. Then, bang! A woman's scream tore through the rain. Oluchi staggered backward, clutching her stomach. Her white shirt turned red. She fell to her knees, gasping, her textbook scattering across the wet concrete. From the dark end of the alley, a man stepped out. Black coat, gloves, gun still smoking. His name, Kim Jung-hyun, Seoul's most feared Mafia boss. He froze. His men behind him whispered, "Boss, it's done." But it wasn't. Jung-hyun's eyes locked on the bleeding woman. Not the target. Not even close. The traitor he'd come to kill was gone. And in his place, a young African woman with terrified eyes. Rain hit the gun barrel as he whispered, "No, no, no." He dropped his knees, pressed his hand against her wound. Blood soaked through his gloves. She looked up, voice trembling. "Please help me." Her accent was soft, foreign. That one word, help, cut through him deeper than any bullet ever had. "Boss!" Park, his second in command, called out, "Cops will come. We have to go." Jung-hyun didn't move. His voice came out low, dangerous. "Nobody touches her. Get the car." Park hesitated. "Boss, this is suicide." "Now!" Jung-hyun barked. The men scrambled. Tires screeched somewhere down the street. Jung-hyun lifted her in his arms. She was light, too light. Her blood soaked his coat. Her breathing was shallow. He looked down at her face again. Something about her, the way she clung to life, it reminded him of someone, his sister. Sirens wailed in the distance. He whispered, "Hold on." The car screeched to a stop beside them. He jumped in with her, shouting orders in Korean. "Call Dr. Han. Tell him I'm bringing someone in. No questions." As they sped through the empty streets, Jung-hyun pressed his hand harder on the wound. Oluchi coughed weakly. Why did you shoot me?" He hesitated. It was a mistake. Her eyes fluttered, pain flickering. "Then fix it." He didn't answer, but his jaw tightened. In his silence, guilt screamed louder than words. Sometimes life changes in one heartbeat, one wrong move, one stray bullet. And if you're watching this right now, pause. Welcome to Afrokorean Tales, friends. This is our first video. Kindly show appreciation by hitting the like and subscribe button, as it would be of encouragement to me. Now, back to the story, because what happens next will break your heart and rebuild it again. The car drifted through neon-lit streets, rain hammering the windshield. Every light they passed flashed red against Oluchi's pale face. Jung-hyun couldn't look away. They reached an underground garage. Dr. Han, his private physician, waited at a hidden door. When he saw the bleeding woman, his face twisted in confusion. "Who is she?" "Just save her," Jung-hyun snapped. Han frowned. "You brought an outsider? Are you insane?" "We can't." Jung-hyun grabbed his collar, slamming him against the wall. "Do your job." Han stared at him, shocked. "Fine, but she needs O-negative blood. It's rare here." "I'll find it." "You don't understand," Han said. "If you start asking around, the Yakuza will—" "I said I'll find it." Han swallowed hard. "Then be quick. She's fading fast." Inside the operating room, machines beeped. Nurses shouted. Jung-hyun watched through the glass, motionless. Every sound stabbed through him like punishment. Then flatline. He froze. Flashback, his sister, pale, hooked the machines, whispering, "Appa, stop fighting. Please." Then the same sound, flatline. He blinked, shaking the memory away. Dr. Han yelled orders. Charge again. The defibrillator buzzed. A jolt. Another. Then, beep, beep. She was back. Han exhaled. She'll live, but she needs weeks of recovery. Jung-hyun's voice was quiet. She stays at my place. No one knows. Han stared. You're crossing lines you can't uncross. Jung-hyun turned, eyes dark. I crossed him the moment I pulled the trigger. The next morning, sunlight streamed through glass walls. Oluchi stirred. Her side burned. She blinked. White marble ceiling, silk sheets, soft piano music. Definitely not a hospital. She sat up too fast and gasped. Pain ripped through her body. She looked around. Luxury everywhere. Gold fixtures, city view, silence. Then she saw him, Jung-hyun, sitting by the window, sleeves rolled up, staring at nothing, gun still holstered at his side. "Where am I?" she whispered. He turned slowly. "Safe. You're the one who shot me." "Yes." Her breath quickened. "So why am I alive?" He walked closer. "Because I didn't mean to kill you." Her laugh came out bitter. "That's comforting." "You shouldn't move," he said calmly. "You lost a lot of blood." "Why should I trust you?" He didn't answer. She glared. "You think I'll thank you for saving me after putting a hole in me?" "I don't want thanks," he said. "Then what do you want?" He hesitated. "To make it right." She turned her head away. "You can't fix a bullet." Silence. The kind that fills a room like smoke. He looked down, eyes heavy. "I know." She closed her eyes. Exhaustion pulled her under again. When she woke, the room was empty, except for a tray of food and a phone with no SIM card. She frowned. "So I'm a prisoner now." From behind her, a voice answered. "You're alive. That's more than most get." She turned. Park stood at the doorway, arms folded, cold, calculating. "Where's Jung-hyun?" she asked. "Busy," he said. "Cleaning up the mess you caused." Her eyes flared. "The mess I caused?" "He shot me." Park's gaze didn't waver. "You should have stayed out of that alley." She clenched her jaw. "You people think you own this city." "We do," he said quietly. "And you're lucky you met him, not someone else." "Lucky," she scoffed. "I nearly died." He leaned in. "If he hadn't brought you here, you would've—" She stared, uncertain whether to hate or thank him. Night fell. Jung-hyun returned, his face tired. He poured a drink but didn't touch it. Oluchi's voice broke the silence. "You look like hell." He gave a faint smile. "I've been worse." "Is this your way of helping people?" "Shooting them first." He exhaled slowly. "You shouldn't talk too much. You need rest." She crossed her arms. "You're not my doctor." "No," he said softly. "I'm the reason you need one." For a moment, neither spoke. Just the sound of the city below. Finally, she said, "Why didn't you just let me die?" He looked at her, eyes distant. "Because I couldn't save the last person who asked me to." Her voice softened. "Your sister?" He nodded once. "Leukemia. I built this empire for her. But it wasn't enough." She looked away. "I'm studying medicine. For my mother. She's sick too." He blinked, surprised. "You're from Nigeria, right?" "Yes." "Why come here?" "Because I thought saving lives meant leaving mine behind." He stared at her. For the first time in years, someone spoke to him without fear. She met his eyes. "We're not so different. You lost your sister. I'm losing my mother. The only difference is you chose the wrong path." Jung-hyun's jaw tightened. "There was no right path where I came from." Her gaze softened, but she turned away. "There always is. You just stopped looking." He didn't respond. Instead, he stepped closer, adjusted her blanket. "Sleep. You'll need strength." She whispered, "To run?" He half smiled. "To heal." As he walked out, she watched him go. Something in his silence scared her, and yet something in his eyes didn't. If you were her, would you trust a man who nearly killed you? Would you believe his guilt was real, or just another lie from a dangerous man? Tell me in the comments what you would do. And if you're still watching, don't forget to like this video. It helps more people find stories like this. Days passed. Oluchi began walking again, pain fading. Every morning, Jung-hyun brought her breakfast himself. No one else entered the room. Not even Park. Each time, their conversations grew longer. Each time, his walls lowered just a little. One morning, she asked, "Do you always eat alone?" He shrugged. "It's quieter." "Or lonelier?" He looked at her, then away. Both. She smiled faintly. You know, for a scary mafia boss, you're pretty bad at pretending you don't care. He chuckled under his breath. And for someone who almost died, you talk too much. Talking keeps me alive. He looked up. Maybe that's why I keep listening. The silence that followed wasn't awkward this time. It was warm, unexpected, human. He reached into his pocket and placed something on the table. Her cross necklace. Clean, shining. You dropped this, he said quietly. She touched it, eyes softening. You kept it? I thought it mattered. It does. She smiled for the first time. Maybe you're not as heartless as they say. His voice dropped. Maybe I am. You just haven't seen it yet. But deep down, even he didn't believe that anymore. The days that followed blurred between silence and slow healing. Oluchi began to walk again, her steps cautious but determined. Sometimes, Jung-hyun would stand near the window, pretending not to watch her, but his eyes always followed her reflection in the glass. One evening, she caught him staring. You know, if you keep watching me like that, I might start charging rent. He looked startled, then chuckled softly. You're healing faster than expected. Guess your bullet wasn't strong enough. His smile faded. Don't joke about that. She tilted her head. Why? Feeling guilty? Every second, he said quietly. The words hit her harder than she expected. She didn't know whether to feel angry or sorry for him. But before she could reply, Park entered, his expression cold as always. Boss, Park said, we need to talk. Jung-hyun nodded toward the hallway. Not here. Oluchi watched them leave. For the first time, she realized that Jung-hyun wasn't just dangerous. He was being hunted by something bigger. Inside the private study, Park shut the door behind them. Boss! He began cautiously. The Yakuza had been sniffing around. Someone leaked our movements from last night. Jung-hyun's expression didn't change. Who? We don't know yet. But word is they found traces of negative blood orders from your name. Jung-hyun froze. That meant one thing. Saving Oluchi had drawn attention. How long before they find her? He asked. Not long, Park replied. You should have let Han handle her disposal. Jung-hyun's hand twitched. She's not disposable. Park exhaled. Then what is she, boss? A mistake you want to protect? You're risking everything for a stranger. Jung-hyun turned sharply, eyes dark. You think I don't know that? Every second since that night, I've thought about it. But I made a choice, I'll see it through. Park shook his head. You're not the man you used to be. Maybe that's a good thing, Jung-hyun said quietly. Park stared at him, disappointment heavy in his voice. You built this empire with blood. Don't let a woman destroy it. But Jung-hyun only looked out the window, the city lights reflecting in his eyes. Maybe she's not destroying it. Maybe she's saving what's left of me. Outside the door, Oluchi stood frozen. She hadn't meant to eavesdrop, but now she couldn't unhear it. That night, she couldn't sleep. The thought of being the reason his world was falling apart made her chest tighten. But so did the strange feeling she had whenever he looked at her, a mix of fear and something dangerously close to empathy. The next morning, Jung-hyun entered her room. He was dressed in black again, sharp, commanding, unreadable. I have to go out for a few hours, he said. You'll stay here. Don't open the door for anyone but me. Am I a guest or a prisoner? She asked. His eyes softened slightly. You're someone who deserves to live. Before she could respond, he turned and left. Hours passed. The clock ticked. Oluchi paced the room, restless. Every sound from the hallway made her jump, until suddenly there was a knock. She froze. Who's there? No answer. Another knock, softer this time. She backed away slowly, clutching the blanket around her. Jung-hyun. Still nothing. Her heart pounded. Then the door handle moved. Her eyes widened in panic, until Park stepped in. What are you doing here? She demanded. He looked at her, his expression unreadable. Checking on you. I don't need checking on. You do, he said flatly, because you have no idea how much trouble you've caused. She frowned. I didn't ask to be shot. He took a step closer. No, but you asked to stay alive. And that's costing us everything. Her breath caught. What do you mean? Park studied her face for a long moment. You don't belong in this world. And the longer you stay, the worse it'll get for both of you. Then why not just let me go? She snapped. Because he won't let you, Park said. And deep down, you don't leave either. Her eyes flared. You don't know me. He gave a cold half smile. You think I don't see it? The way you look at him. The way he looks at you. It's already too late. She clenched her fists. You're wrong. He leaned closer. Am I? Before she could reply, Jung-hyun's voice cut through the tension. Park. Park straightened immediately. Jung-hyun stood at the door, expression unreadable. I told you not to come here. I was making sure she's safe. Jung-hyun's tone turned icy. From me? Park said nothing. Then he turned and walked out. After the door closed, Oluchi exhaled shakily. Jung-hyun looked at her. What did he say? She hesitated. Nothing important. He studied her for a moment longer. If he ever makes you uncomfortable, tell me. She frowned. You really think I trust you enough for that? He didn't smile. No, but I hope one day you might. He turned away, his voice quieter now. You should eat. That evening, the news hit Seoul's underground like wildfire. A Yakuza convoy had been attacked near the docks, and rumors spread that Jung-hyun's organization was weakening. Whispers of rebellion began to rise. Park gathered the lieutenants secretly. The boss isn't thinking clearly anymore, he said. He's protecting an outsider, and it's costing us everything. The Yakuza smell blood. If we don't act soon, we'll lose Seoul. One man asked, You're suggesting we take him down? Park's expression darkened. I'm suggesting we survive. Meanwhile, back at the penthouse, Oluchi stood near the balcony, staring at the city lights. She could feel the storm brewing. Jung-hyun approached quietly. Beautiful, isn't it? He asked. She nodded. From up here, everything looks peaceful. You'd never guess what's happening below. He glanced at her. Peace is an illusion. You learn that in this business. She turned toward him. Then why do you stay in it? He hesitated. Because it's the only thing I've ever known. Then maybe it's time you learn something new. He smiled faintly. You make it sound easy. It's not, she said softly. But maybe it's worth it. He looked at her for a long moment, then nodded slightly. Maybe. Their eyes met, and for a brief second, the air between them shifted. Something fragile, unspoken, but real. The next day, while Jung-hyun handled business calls, Oluchi wandered into his office. Stacks of documents, maps, weapons. His world lay bare. But one picture caught her attention. A small framed photo of a young girl with bright eyes. She looks like you, she said quietly. Jung-hyun turned from his desk. She was my sister, Jian. She must have been special. She was everything. He paused. Cancer took her when she was 17. I promised her I'd change. But instead, I built this. Oluchi touched the photo gently. She wouldn't have wanted this for you. I know. Then why keep going? He exhaled. Because once you're in this world, leaving it means dying. She met his gaze. Then, maybe dying isn't the worst thing. Maybe living like this is. Her words lingered long after she left the room. Later that night, Jung-hyun stood alone on the balcony, rain beginning to fall again. The city below flickered like broken stars. His phone buzzed. Park's voice came through, strained. Boss, we have a problem. The Yakuza know about the girl. They're coming. Jung-hyun's blood ran cold. How? Someone leaked it. They want her alive. He hung up, grabbed his gun, and rushed down the hallway. But when he reached her room, it was empty. Oluchi, his voice echoed. Nothing. He ran to the main hall. A guard lay unconscious on the floor. Then he saw it. The balcony door open. Curtains whipping in the wind. He stepped outside. And then, a scream cut through the night. Jung-hyun spun toward the courtyard below. Black van screeched out a gate, tail lights fading fast. His heart dropped. No! He pulled out his phone. Park, they have her. Park's voice on the other end was calm. Too calm. I know. Jung-hyun froze. What did you do? Park sighed. I warned you, boss. But you wouldn't listen. Jung-hyun's voice trembled with fury. Park, don't do this. It's done. Tanaka wanted her alive. I made a deal. Seoul stays ours. By betraying me? By saving what's left. The line went dead. Jung-hyun stood in the rain, fists trembling, eyes burning with rage. The city lights blurred behind the tears he refused to shed. He whispered, I saved you once, Oluchi. I'll do it again, even if it kills me. He turned toward the elevator, gun in hand, and disappeared into the storm. The rain hadn't stopped. It pounded against Seoul's skyline, like drums of war. Jung-hyun stood before the mirror in his armory, drenched and silent. His reflection stared back. Haunted eyes, trembling hands, a gun loaded with vengeance. He'd been betrayed by the one person he trusted most. Park, the man who'd fought beside him, bled beside him, now sold out everything for peace that would never come. Jung-hyun holstered his weapons, grabbed his jacket, and whispered, You made a mistake, Park. You forgot who I am. Downstairs, his lieutenants looked up as he entered the garage. Boss, one of them stammered. Where you going? He answered without looking back. To bring her home. They exchanged nervous glances but didn't follow. Everyone knew when Kim Jung-hyun spoke like that, blood would follow. Across the city, Oluchi woke up to the sound of waves crashing. Her head throbbed. Her hands were tied. She was in an abandoned warehouse by the docks. The air smelled of salt and diesel. Several men in black suits stood nearby, watching her like vultures. Then came another voice, smooth and cold. Welcome, Miss Oluchi. A Japanese man stepped out of the shadows. Tanaka, head of the Yakuza in Seoul. Sharp suit, smiling eyes. The kind of man whose politeness made you afraid. Who are you? Oluchi demanded. Tanaka smiled. A businessman. And you, my dear, are leverage. Leverage for what? For a man who doesn't deserve you. She frowned. You mean Jung-hyun? Ah, Tanaka said, his smile widening. So you do care. She turned away. He made a mistake. That's all. Is that what you tell yourself? Tanaka asked softly. That monsters make mistakes? He's killed hundreds. Do you think you're special because he spared you? Oluchi's voice shook. He's not who you think he is. Tanaka laughed quietly. Then you truly don't know him. The man you pity is a demon in a suit. And you're the only light left in him. That's why I took you. He crouched. I level with her. When he comes, and I'll destroy him using you. She glared at him. He'll find you, and when he does... Tanaka's smile vanished. His hand struck her across the face. Her head snapped to the side, blood filling her mouth. He leaned closer, voice ice cold. You're brave. I'll give you that. But bravery won't save him. He stood and walked away, leaving her trembling but unbroken. Hours later, in the heart of Seoul's underworld, Jung-hyun stormed to an old bar that doubled as his operations base. Every man in the room went silent. Where is he? Jung-hyun demanded. No one spoke. He slammed his gun onto the table. Where is Park? Finally, one of the younger members stammered. He's meeting Tanaka at the Incheon docks. Midnight. Jung-hyun's eyes darkened. Then we move now. Boss, another said nervously, you can't take him alone. I'm not asking for permission. Jung-hyun snapped. He turned and walked out, rain swallowing him whole. At the docks, the ocean stretched like black glass. Tanaka stood under a floodlight, cigarette in hand, watching as his men tied Oluchi to a chair. Park arrived, his suit soaked, guilt heavy in his eyes. It's done, he said. She's here. You promised no blood. Tanaka smiled faintly. I promised not to kill her. I said nothing about your boss. Park swallowed. He won't stop, you know. He'll come. That's the idea. Park looked at Oluchi. Her eyes met his, angry, betrayed. How could you? She whispered. He hesitated. You don't understand. He was to get us all killed. I did what I had to. You sold your soul for fear, she said quietly. That's worse than dying. Before Park could respond, headlights cut through the darkness. A black car sped down the dock, engine roaring. Tanaka smirked. Right on time. The car screeched to a halt. Jung-hyun stepped out, coat whipping in the wind, eyes locked on Tanaka. Let her go. Tanaka chuckled. Ah, the king himself. Tell me, Jung-hyun, does she know how many people you buried to keep that empire of yours? Jung-hyun's voice was steady. She knows enough, and she's still worth more than all of you. Tanaka grinned. Beautiful words, but talk is cheap. He snapped his fingers. Dozens of Yakuza soldiers emerged from the shadows, guns raised. Jung-hyun's hand moved to his belt, pulling out his weapon. You can't kill what's already dead. The fight exploded. Gunfire lit the docks like lightning. Jung-hyun moved fast, precise, brutal, each shot finding its mark. Men dropped around him, screaming, splashing into the black water. Park ducked behind container, shouting orders. Don't let him through. Oluchi struggled against the ropes, shouting, Jung-hyun, behind you. He turned just in time, firing 2 rounds into a man creeping up behind him. Blood sprayed across the wet pavement. Tanaka retreated toward a stack of crates, pulling out his own gun. He's insane, he yelled to Park. Do something. Park fought hand to hand, fists slamming into flesh. Tanaka pulled a knife. Jung-hyun blocked, twisting his wrist until the blade clattered away. Tanaka snarled. You can't save her, Jung-hyun. You kill everything you touch. Jung-hyun slammed his fist into Tanaka's jaw. Not this time. Tanaka fell back, blood spilling from his mouth. Jung-hyun turned toward Oluchi. He rushed to her, cutting the ropes. She collapsed into his arms, shaking. Are you hurt? He asked. She nodded weakly. You came? I told you, he said softly. I'd fix my mistake. But before he could move her, a gunshot cracked. Jung-hyun staggered. Blood bloomed across his shoulder. Park stood a few feet away, gun raised, face twisted in pain. Stop, Park shouted. Don't make this harder than it already is. Jung-hyun's voice was raw. You already made it impossible. Park's hand shook. You don't understand. You're not saving her. You're killing her. Oluchi's voice broke. Then shoot me too, because I'm not leaving without him. Park hesitated, his gun lowering slightly. Then another sound cut through the chaos. Sirens. Red and blue lights flickered in the distance. Tanaka groaned, pulling himself up, shouting, Kill them both before the cops arrive. Park looked at Tanaka, then at Jung-hyun, and made his choice. He turned and fired, straight into Tanaka's chest. Tanaka's eyes went wide. He stumbled back, collapsing against the crates. Jung-hyun stared. Park. Park dropped the gun, breathing hard. Go. Take her. They'll be here any second. Jung-hyun stepped forward. Come with us. Park shook his head. No. My time's done. You still have a chance to start over. For a moment, silence hung between them. 2 brothers, broken by loyalty and regret. Park smiled faintly. Guess I finally did something right. He turned, walking toward the flashing lights, hands raised. Jung-hyun grabbed Oluchi's hand. We're leaving. They ran to the back exit, disappearing into the rain. An hour later, deep in the mountains outside Seoul, they hid in an old safe house. Oluchi cleaned the wound on his shoulder while he went silently. You should have let me die, he muttered. She looked up sharply. Don't say that. You've lost everything because of me. She pressed the cloth harder, making him flinch. Then stop making it about what's lost. Start thinking about what's left. He met her eyes. And what's left? She smiled softly. You, me, and maybe a chance to be something different. He blinked, unsure how to respond. Her touch lingered on his arm a moment too long. Then she whispered, You saved my life twice now. That has to mean something. It means, he he said quietly. I finally did one thing right. Outside, the storm began to fade. For the first time in a long while, Jung-hyun felt peace, not safety, but peace. He looked at her and realized this woman had done what guns, money, and fear never could. She'd made him feel human again. The night air in the mountains was cold and clean, but Jung-hyun couldn't feel it. He sat by the window, shirtless, his shoulder freshly bandaged, eyes fixed on the dark forest outside. Oluchi was asleep on the couch, exhaustion written across her face. He'd killed, bled, lost everything, and yet, for the first time, he didn't feel empty. He felt terrified, because he finally had something to lose again. The silence was heavy, until his phone buzzed on the table. He picked it up, a message from an unknown number. They know where you are. He froze, looked at Oluchi, then at the phone again. No name, no sender, just one more message. If you care about her, run. He stood quickly, grabbed his gun, and crossed the room. Oluchi, wake up. Her eyes fluttered open, still half dreaming. What's wrong? We have to move. Now. It's still dark. Now, he said sharply, helping her to her feet. They found us. Within minutes, they were in the car, headlights cutting through the fog as they sped down the mountain road. Oluchi clutched her seatbelt, heart pounding. Who sent the message? Someone trying to help, he said grimly, or someone trying to scare us. Either way, it worked. He glanced at her, a faint smile breaking through. You're getting used to this. Not sure if that's a compliment. The moment lightened, but not for long. As they approached the base of the mountain, headlights appeared behind them. Jung-hyun's eyes narrowed. Hold on. The black SUV behind them sped up. Then another one appeared. And another. Yakuza, he muttered. They're not done yet. He swerved, tires screeching against the wet road. Bullets shattered the rear window. Oluchi screamed, ducking low. They're shooting at us. I noticed, he shouted, spinning the wheel. The car fishtailed, sliding dangerously close to the cliff. Can you lose them? I'm trying not to die. He jerked the wheel hard, turning down a narrow side road that led toward the city. The SUVs followed. A chase through the dark countryside began. Engines roaring, lights flashing, bullets flying. Then suddenly, a truck blocked the road ahead. Hang on. Jung-hyun slammed the brakes, yanking the wheel left. The car spun, crashing through a fence, tumbling into a muddy field. For a few seconds, everything went silent. Only the rain, only breathing. Oluchi coughed, blood on her lip. Are we alive? He winced. Barely. The SUVs pulled over above the field, men jumping out, shouting in Japanese. Jung-hyun reached for his gun. Stay down. He fired once, twice, taking down two men. Another bullet grazed his arm. He didn't flinch. He crawled toward Oluchi, grabbed her hand. Run. They sprinted through the field, rain soaking them, bullets chasing every step. A barn appeared ahead, half collapsed, abandoned. They slipped inside, gasping, dripping, hiding behind crates. Jung-hyun reloaded quietly. His hands trembled. Oluchi pressed a hand to his bleeding shoulder. You're hurt. So are you. This isn't the time to argue. He smirked faintly despite the pain. You sound like my sister. She met his eyes. Then listen to me like you should have listened to her. Outside, footsteps crunched. Voices drew closer. She whispered, They're coming. He nodded. When I say run, you run. What about you? I'll hold them off. No, she hissed. Not this time. I'm not leaving you again. He looked at her, rain and tears mixed on her face. And for a moment, the chaos disappeared. He leaned closer, whispering, You shouldn't care this much. She whispered back, too late. Then the door burst open. Gunfire erupted again. Jung-hyun dove forward, pulling her behind a wooden beam, returning fire. The barn filled with flashes of light and echoing shots. 3 men fell, then 4, but more kept coming. One grenade rolled across the floor. Oluchi's eyes widened. Jung-hyun. He grabbed her, diving behind a heavy crate as the explosion tore through the barn. Wood shattered. Fire roared. He shielded her with his body, debris pelting his back. When the dust settled, the remaining attackers retreated, sirens in the distance. The noise of police closing in sent them scattering like shadows. Jung-hyun collapsed, blood trickling from his head. Oluchi shook him desperately. "Stay with me, please." His breathing was ragged. "Go." "No," she screamed. "You don't get to die on me now." He smiled faintly. "Bosses don't take orders." "Then I'll make it one," she whispered, tears spilling. "You're not dying tonight." She ripped part of her sleeve, pressing it against his wound. Her hands shook, but her voice steadied. "You saved me. Now let me save you." Sirens grew louder. Flashing lights painted the smoke-filled barn red and blue. She whispered, "Hold on just a little longer." The next thing Jung-hyun remembered was light. White, sterile light. He blinked. A hospital room. The faint hum of machines. Then her voice. "You're awake." He turned his head slowly. Oluchi sat by his bed, dark circles under her eyes, but smiling softly. "You were out for 2 days," she said. "Doctor said you lost a lot of blood." He tried to sit up. "Where are we?" "Private clinic. I pulled some strings." He frowned. "How?" "I told him you were a cop." He chuckled weakly. "That's a new one." "You're welcome." He looked at her, gratitude hidden behind tired eyes. "You shouldn't have stayed." "Too bad," she said gently. "I did." Silence fell between them. But this time, it wasn't awkward. It was warm, familiar, safe. Then the door opened. Dr. Han entered, arms folded, shaking his head. "You really don't know when to stop, do you?" Jung-hyun smirked. "You still answer my calls." "I shouldn't," Han muttered. "The police are swarming the docks. Tanaka's dead. Park's in custody." Jung-hyun's eyes sharpened. "He surrendered?" Han nodded. "He took the blame for everything. Said you were out of the picture." Oluchi's eyes widened. "He protected you." Jung-hyun stared at the floor. "He always did." Han sighed. "You can't stay here. They'll find you soon. Both of you. Where do we go?" Oluchi asked. Han looked between them. "Anywhere that isn't Seoul." He handed Jung-hyun a small envelope. New passports. New names. A clean start. Jung-hyun hesitated. "Why are you helping me?" Han's voice softened. "Because Ji-yeon believed in second chances." Maybe she was right. Jung-hyun nodded. Emotion thick in his throat. "Thank you." Han left, closing the door behind him. Oluchi reached for the envelope, flipping it open. 2 passports. 1 ticket. Destination, Lagos, Nigeria. She looked up at him. "You're coming with me?" He met her gaze. "If you'll have me." Her lips trembled. "After everything?" He smiled faintly. "You think anyone else would put up with me?" She laughed through tears. "You'd be surprised." He reached for her hand, fingers brushing hers. "You once said maybe there's always a right path. Maybe this is it." She looked at him, eyes glistening. "Then let's find out." 2 days later, under the cover of dawn, they left Seoul. The city stretched behind them like a ghost, bright, cold, unforgiving. As their car crossed the bridge, Jung-hyun looked out the window one last time. "Goodbye," he murmured. Oluchi turned to him. "You'll miss it." He shook his head. "No, just the person I used to be." She reached over, placing her hand on his, then let him go. He nodded slowly, squeezing her hand back. Hours later, they arrived at the airport. Disguises on, bags light, futures uncertain. At the gate, an announcement echoed. "Flight to Lagos, boarding now." Oluchi smiled. "Home." Jung-hyun exhaled. "A word I haven't used in years." "Get used to it," she said, taking his hand. They boarded quietly, blending into the crowd. When the plane took off, Jung-hyun looked out the window. The clouds swallowed Seoul below. For the first time in his life, he didn't feel trapped by power or hunted by guilt. He felt free. Oluchi leaned her head on his shoulder, eyes closing. We made it. He looked down at her, whispering. Yeah, we did. For a long time, neither spoke. The hum of the plane, the rhythm of her breathing, it all felt like peace. He thought of Park, of his sister, of the blood he'd spilled, and somehow, for the first time, he believed redemption might actually be possible. Lagos heat hit them the moment they stepped off the plane. It wrapped around them like sunlight after a lifetime of rain. Car horns blared in the distance, voices rose from crowded terminals, and the air smelled of roasted corn and ocean wind. Oluchi smiled as she looked around. Welcome to my world. Jung-hyun adjusted his sunglasses, taking the color, the noise, the life. So this is Lagos. This is home. She grinned, the excitement in her eyes lighting up her face. It's messy, loud, beautiful, and alive. He watched her talk, the passion in her voice, and something inside him shifted. He hadn't realized how gray his world had been until now. They took a taxi through the city, past markets bursting with color, children running barefoot through puddles, women balancing baskets on their heads, men laughing by roadside stalls. Everywhere, energy pulsed like music. Oluchi leaned out the window, waving at a group of kids. I miss this, she said softly. I used to walk these streets before leaving for Seoul. Jung-hyun smiled faintly. You traded this for long nights and cold ramen. Doesn't sound like a fair deal. She laughed. It was supposed to be temporary. I just didn't know how much Seoul would change me. He looked at her. You changed me too. She turned to him, eyes meeting his. Then maybe it was worth it. The car pulled up in front of a small, white building with a faded sign that read Hope Health Center. This is it, she said. My dream. My mother's dream. He helped her carry the bags inside. The clinic smelled of fresh paint and disinfectant. Boxes of medical supplies sat unopened. A few nurses greeted her warmly. An older woman appeared from a back room, thin but smiling. Oluchi's mother. Mama. Oluchi ran to her, hugging her tightly. Tears filled her eyes. I'm home. Her mother held her face, whispering, My daughter, you came back. I told you I would. Jung-hyun stepped back quietly, giving them space. Her mother noticed him. And who is this gentleman? Oluchi hesitated, glancing at Jung-hyun. A friend. Someone who helped me when I needed it most. Her mother nodded slowly. Then you are welcome here. He bowed slightly. Thank you, ma'am. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the city skyline, Jung-hyun stood outside the clinic, watching children play football in the street. Oluchi walked up beside him. Her hair tied back, a calm smile on her face. She's happy you're here, Oluchi said softly. He nodded. I don't deserve that. Maybe not, but she doesn't care about what you deserve. She only cares about what you do now. He looked at her. And what am I supposed to do now? She smiled faintly. Live. Weeks passed. Jung-hyun worked quietly at the clinic, fixing broken locks, painting walls, installing lights. He wasn't a doctor, but he knew discipline, precision, and how to make things work again. And for the first time, people smiled when they saw him, not out of fear, but gratitude. Every morning, Oluchi arrived early, hair tied, sleeves rolled, ready to face another day. He'd watch her move between patients, her laughter soft but strong. Sometimes she'd catch him staring and tease, You're supposed to fix the shelves, not me. He'd smile back. You're harder to ignore. In those quiet moments, something gentle began to grow, something neither of them dared to name. At night, they'd sit outside the clinic on plastic chairs, sipping tea while the city buzzed around them. One night, Oluchi asked, Do you ever miss Seoul? He thought for a moment. Sometimes. The noise, the power, the danger. It's strange. When you live your life in darkness, peace feels foreign. She looked at him. And now? He exhaled slowly. Now I'm learning to breathe again. A soft smile touched her lips. That's enough for me. He glanced at her hand resting on her lap, fingers twitching slightly. He wanted to take it, but fear held him back. Not fear of rejection, but of breaking something pure. So he simply said, "You gave me back what I didn't know I lost." She looked at him curiously. "And what's that?" "Hope." One humid afternoon, a car stopped outside the clinic. Two men in suits stepped out, scanning the street before entering. Jung-hyun's instincts kicked in immediately. Posture, silence, eyes sharp. Oluchi noticed a tension in his shoulders. "What is it?" He whispered. "Stay behind me." The men approached. One held out a letter. "Mr. Kim Jung-hyun?" He hesitated. "Who's asking?" The man handed him the envelope. "From Park Ji-hoon." Jung-hyun froze. "Park." He tore it open. Inside was a short note, written in Park's rough handwriting. "I made a deal. The Yakuza won't touch you anymore. I'll serve time for what I did. Don't waste this chance. Live for both of us." At the bottom, a final line. "Tell her, thank you for changing you." Jung-hyun folded the letter carefully, eyes wet. Oluchi touched his arm. "Park." He nodded. "He's in prison, but alive. That's something." He nodded again, voice thick. "He saved me, even after betraying me. Maybe we both needed saving." She squeezed his hand gently. "Then you both found it." Months rolled by. The clinic thrived. Children laughed. Patients healed. And slowly, the man who once ruled Seoul's underworld became just another face in a small Lagos neighborhood. One evening, after closing the clinic, Oluchi found him outside, sitting on the steps, watching the stars. "You're quiet tonight," she said. He smiled faintly, thinking about Ji-hyun, wondering if she'd be proud of me. Oluchi sat beside him. She would. "You became the man she hoped for." He looked at her, emotion raw in his eyes. "And what about you? Are you proud?" She laughed softly. "I'm not your judge, Jung-hyun." "No," he said, voice gentle. "But you're the reason I'm still here." Her heart skipped. "Don't put that on me." "I'm not." He turned to face her fully. "I'm thanking you." The silence stretched, full of words neither could say. Finally, she whispered, "You could stay here, you know, for good. Make this your home." He searched her face. "You want that?" She met his gaze. "I do." He reached for her hand this time, no hesitation. Their fingers intertwined. He smiled. "Then I already am home." Weeks later, a warm morning breeze drifted through the clinic. Oluchi stepped out of her mother's room, holding a folded paper in her hand. Her smile trembled, her eyes shining with something soft and bright. Jung-hyun looked up from the reception desk. "Everything okay?" She nodded slowly. "Better than okay." He frowned playfully. "That's mysterious." "Read this," she said, handing him the paper. He opened it, scanning the short line of text. Then he looked up, eyes wide. "Oluchi." She smiled through happy tears. "We're expecting." The words hit him like sunlight after years underground. He stepped closer, speechless. A child." She nodded, voice breaking. "A family." For a moment he just stood there, the past rushing through his mind. The blood, the guilt, the darkness, and all of it fading into something new. He whispered, voice trembling, "I don't deserve this." She placed his hand over her heart. "Maybe not, but life gave it to you anyway." He laughed quietly, his eyes wet. "I used to believe I'd die in a back alley. Now I'm here, building cribs instead of empires." She smiled through her tears. "That's the kind of empire worth having." He kissed her forehead, whispering, "Thank you for giving me a second life." Outside, the sun rose over Lagos, bathing the streets in gold. Children ran past, laughing, their joy echoing into the morning air. And inside Hope Health Center, a new heartbeat began to shape their future. Jung-hyun stood with Oluchi at the doorway, hand on hers, both looking out at the city. He whispered, "Guess the name finally fits." She laughed softly. "It always did. You just had to believe it." He smiled, eyes glistening. "I do now, more than ever." The camera would linger there, on two people who had found light after ruin. A new story just beginning. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments if you'd like a part 2. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Afro-Korean Tales for more stories of love, redemption, and second chances. Because sometimes, the most powerful endings are only the beginning of something even greater.